Kids today wouldn't believe that Green Acres was popping. It was alive. That's where we first got our first job. That's where all the girls went. And they're doing a lot of changes. You might not see that sign soon. So they're actually making a bunch of changes to Green Acres to improve it. They're bringing in new stores, different things like this launch that's going to pretty much be half the mall, looks like. But when you go to the mall, it's going to look different too. Like that check cashing place is gone. That's where I met ODB the first time, before I even got in the music industry. And all this and stuff is new over here. When you saw this KFC, you knew it was going to be a good day, man. I used to love that KFC, man. I was sad when it closed. And yeah, this is the sign. Now, you know we're driving by the old Sunrise Highway. We'll talk about that in the next video. But this right here is one of my favorite stores, man. This is Toys R Us, man. Toys R Us was a good time, man. It was a good time. And when you went to the back, of that Toys R Us and you went down there, you know you got a big toy because you had to go to the back and go under to get the big toys. So that was like, yo, it's up right now. Like, we valley. Man, back in the 80s, my mom used to dress me like I was Eddie Kane Jr., man, from the 5 Heartbeats. Nights like this, I wish. You know what I mean? But this store right here was clutch because it had all the trending gear. So right here in this store, I bought my first Carcanine outfit. You remember you could put a whole 40 ounce in the pocket of those jeans. We used to wear Jabot, cross-colored, Champion. Yo, I had the all-black Columbia suit. What brands did you wear back in the 90s and 80s? So this used to be JCPenney's. I hated when my mom wanted to go in there. We'd be in there for 2 hours. Now, this right here broke my heart when it closed down. I didn't understand it. That used to be the McDonald's. It was always packed. And across was Friendly's. Friendly's was right there across from the McDonald's. They had the best ice cream drinks. They had good burgers too. This store was a lot of things, but for me, it was Foot Locker. And they used to hire the baddest girls to work it. So over to the right, that used to be an arcade. Straight forward was Sears. The arcade, your parents used to leave you in the arcade all day long. Nobody would bother you. That's how safe it used to be back in the days. But yeah, we used to play in there all the time. That's the food court. That's where I had my first job I actually liked, the Charlie Steak. When it first opened up, I was the first cook when they opened up. They fired me after a couple of months and hired a bunch of Mexicans, but that's a whole nother conversation. We had stores like that. Sam Goody, Radio Shack, you get any wire you want to. You can clearly see through walking through the mall that it started to transition already. They're closing most of the stores. Most of the stores aren't open, as you see. So you walk through and everything shut down. Forever 21, all the stores that you would need to go to, they're pretty much gone. Kohl's has been going for a long time. They're going to do construction on the Sears and the Kohl's and make new department buildings there. I don't know what it's going to be. But yeah, this is what the mall looks like today, man. And that's what it's going to look like in the future. So say goodbye to the old Green Acres Mall. Here comes the new Green Acres Mall. So in part 2, you know we got to talk about the movie theater and everything else. Look out for part 2. I see in the comments of part 1, we got some real ones. So a lot of people remember that this was Alexander. But a lot of people didn't say anything about that being A&S. Macy's used to be an A&S. And older people told me that A&S was actually Gimbel's at one point. Is that true or not? Remember the old Alexander building had the underground parking garage? That's cool. Now, when you turn 16, you know you thought you was doing something because this was your first day. You made it to the big leagues. You're hitting that Red Lobster. Everybody in Queens had to hit that Red Lobster for your first real day. We all talk about Sunrise, but everybody forgets there was another movie theater right here. It was Green Acres Movies right here. And after that, then you had Circuit City, and now you have the Michaels. But yeah, people forget, it was 2 movie theaters. And that one, we didn't really go to that one that much. It didn't really have the fly joints. Now, this was obviously several different things. Now, I remember the Ponderosa, but it was something before the Ponderosa, too. It was Ponderosa, then it was the barbecue spot, the Bronx barbecue spot, and then now it's Hook and Reel. Yo, they had good food there, but shout out to Chi-Chi's that was down the block. That was my favorite restaurant over here. It was next to the IHOP further down Sunrise Highway. Did anybody eat at Chi-Chi's? That was my joint, man. Now, this whole entire area over here, all of this was Sunrise Cinema. So Sunrise Cinema had the biggest parking lot in the world. And as a kid, I'm like, why is this parking lot so big? It's because back in the day, Sunrise was actually a drive-in movie theater. I don't know how many people knew that, but that's what it was. That's why that parking lot was so big. And they had the huge flea market in there that we would buy stuff from. And it was every Saturday morning, the flea market. But you know, Sunrise, we had all the movies. And also, you know that you was going to run into your ex at Sunrise. That's why people started going other places, because everybody was at Sunrise. So you was going to run into people that you did not like at Sunrise. So many memories here at Sunrise, man. My mom closing my eyes in the sex scene in Purple Rain. They were seeing the Transformer movie in the 86 in the front row. Kids crying when Optimus Prime died. It was crazy. My mom used to like sneak fried chicken and like sandwiches and chips and popcorn in there so we didn't have to pay when we got in there. It was crazy. But unfortunately, we know what happened. We know, unfortunately, there was a shooting there. And then we had the metal detectors put up. And that pretty much was the beginning of the end of Sunrise Cinema. And rest in peace to it. And let's always cherish the memories.